Happy New Year, everybody! It is the first day of 2017, and I'm so excited to launch something new on my Facebook Live videos today. I've been dropping hints all week, so here it is. In case you haven't guessed from my little retro apron, I am going to be cooking with you live on Facebook and sharing some of my favorite recipes that I brought with me from India, from my mom, and it's just going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we grew up eating. For those of you who don't know or can't tell a lot of the times from my posts on Facebook or Instagram, I love cooking. I love eating, but more importantly, I love feeding people. If somebody comes over to my house, I go into full auntie mode and I'm like, eat something, will you have something, shall I make you a cup of tea? It's what I'm all about. I love feeding people. I love knowing that they left with full stomachs and happy hearts. And it's a really big part of my life. And so I thought, why not share it with everybody? Now this is live. It might go well, it might be a disaster, I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, if you learn something along the way, that's great. I'll try and transcribe all of this onto my blog and give you some recipes as well if you want them. But for now, we're just gonna do this live and see how it goes. I'm really excited, but I'm also really nervous because cooking live, you never know what can happen. Now, one of the recipes that I really love that I'm going to start with today is a recipe that my mom made a lot. It's a really good sort of brunch recipe, and now it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. You're just waking up from your New Year celebrations. Either you're severely sleep deprived or you're kind of hungover. Either way, this recipe works because it's got that little grease factor to help you get over your hangover, and it's really easy too if you're kind of still wiping the sleep out of your eyes. So, it's called pora and chips. Now, pora for Parsi people just means omelette. But this is a special Parsi omelette, so we're going to spice it up a little bit. And chips are essentially just fries that I'm going to make for you at home. A lot of people feel like fries are not something you can do at home, and it's really simple. I've been doing it all my life, literally. My mom used to make them for us all the time. And so I'm going to show you how to make fries really easily at home. So we're going to start with that because the fries actually take longer than anything else. And I like to time everything perfectly so that it's warm on the plate. I don't like to reheat stuff if you're cooking fresh. So let's start with potatoes and fries. You're gonna grab like regular potatoes. I like russet potatoes because I feel like they kind of hold up really well and they're nice and big, so you can get nice long fries out of them. So you take a potato, you peel it, you slice it up lengthwise, and then you do this. I'm gonna show you now. I'm gonna turn the camera because this is how live works and I'm doing it all myself. So here we go. I'm gonna tilt this down a little so you can see the potato slice. Yay. Okay, hang on. All right, here you go. Can you see it? There you go. Okay. I have a little slice of potato and grab my big knife here, and we're just gonna slice lengthwise like that. And that's really it. That's how you slice potatoes. And then I have had some oil heating in a wok for a little bit. And I feel like if you're Indian, most Indian households have like a kadai or a wok or something. And so you just pour enough oil into it to completely submerge your fries, and then off you go. So we're gonna put some of these chips, and I have a few cut already. I'm gonna take you over this way to my fantastic, can you see it? My wok with my oil already heated up in it, and I'm gonna start sliding. I'm gonna switch hands because this is hard. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start putting some of our potatoes in to the oil. So I'm gonna test if it's hot enough. Not quite yet, but it'll get there. Essentially, it should have. This is what happens with live. It should have started boiling up and coming up, but my oil is not hot enough. So we're gonna wait for that to heat up a little bit, and I'll show you what hot oil looks like later. So in the meantime, we're gonna prep our omelette. I'm sorry if I'm not looking in the camera, like I have to look at my face a lot, And the camera's over like this side. So I'm gonna wait for our oil to heat up a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to prep my omelette. So essentially, what I do for this Parsi omelette is I use all the spices in my arsenal. So here we go. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put this down and see if I can show you guys all of the spices that I'm going to be using. Let's point this down a little bit. You guys, all right? Okay, okay. Hang on a second, hang on a second. There we go. I'm gonna make sure my camera doesn't completely tip over. Oh, maybe not. Bear with me, guys. This is the first time and we are live. Okay, I got my charger going over there. Okay, so what I like to do is start with about, this is a 1/4 cup of chopped up onions. I'll put that over there. And then I have my coriander powder, my cumin powder, my turmeric, and I've got red chili powder. These are available pretty much everywhere. Honestly, I just discovered Bulk Barn. And Bulk Barn, I know I'm a really bad like Canadian immigrant. I should have known about Bulk Barn the minute I moved here. But Bulk Barn has all the spices you need. Now, if you're a typical snobby Indian like I am, they're not the best quality, but they'll do in a pinch if you just want to experiment, you know? So here we go. So you got all your spices, you've got your onions, and then I have a 1/2 tablespoon of, I'm gonna put it here so you can see it. No, here, okay, here. 1/2 tablespoon of chilies. And then I've got my 1 teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. And then I've got my 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Look at that, it's like I'm a professional, it's great. Okay, so all of this is going to go into 2 eggs. So I have my 2 eggs over here, and we're gonna just dump, well, not all of this. Let me explain a little better here. I'm going to be putting in 2 heaping teaspoons of each of these spices into here. I'm not gonna just chuck that whole thing because that'd be insane. So you got your 2 eggs, you're gonna chuck in your onions, and you're gonna chuck, now chilies honestly are optional. I love chilies, and I honestly, this is kind of less for me, but if you don't want to put chilies in, you can completely skip this step. The other thing you can put in this recipe is coriander. I absolutely love coriander. Couldn't find any fresh at the market, so I'm going to skip that today, but you can put coriander in if you want. So, chucking in my chilies, chucking in my ginger garlic paste. Salt is honestly to taste. I kind of over salt everything. Most people don't like that much salt, but this is my taste, so salt in there. And then, here's the thing. So I said 2 heaping teaspoons, I was wrong. With turmeric, you just want to do it, what I like to call a titch. Now, let me explain to you. A titch is a less than 1/2 teaspoon, but more than 1/4 teaspoon, that's like my measurement. So a titch of turmeric. We're gonna do 2 good teaspoonfuls of cumin. We're gonna do 2 good teaspoonfuls of coriander. I know this looks like a lot, but trust me, it works. And then, okay, red chili powder again is optional because it just depends on how much spice you can handle, really. So I do about a titch of that too, because that is really potent. So we got that going. Okay, can you see this? Okay, so now we're just gonna break our yolks. And you got a big mess of spices in there. Trust me, it'll come together. It'll come together, I promise. And so I just go like this, round the bowl, make sure all your spices are kind of going in there. Yeah. And so this is just a really basic, I don't want to call it a technique because who doesn't know how to whip up eggs, right? So I just like to make sure that all of the spices are really in there. So I kind of do a little bit of a folding motion, and then also just like, essentially beat the hell out of it. So, yeah, if you got a little bit of rage going on, it's kind of nice to get it out. And you know, you're being productive at the same time. You're making eggs. And hey, if you want to make an omelet, you gotta break some eggs. I'm sorry. I'm clearly nervous and like being idiotic. So, there we got your eggs. Oh, it looks like our oil is kind of ready. So I'm gonna show you what it's supposed to look like when your oil is hot and you put potatoes in it. So, hang on. Okay, so there's a hot oil. You should see that happening to your potatoes, like bubbling up or whatever. I don't know the technical terms. I'm a home chef. So, you got your oil hot enough now. And so we're going to start slipping in our fries. And I like to do them sort of 1, 2 at a time, being really careful because oil is hot and if it splatters on you, it will disfigure you. So, just, you know, be gentle with your fries. Put them in 1 at a time. I like to put them in the same direction because they're going to cook evenly that way. And you see? Okay, here. Da-da-da. We've got our fries in there. Perfect. I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. So now our fries are going to cook there. I like to cook them on like a medium flame. That way they're cooked all the way through. And then if you just want to get a little bit of color on them, you can raise the flame higher and just, you know, get a little singe going. But so now we've got our fries going happily. And I'm going to bring you back here. I'm going to turn my stove on. Look it, I have a nice new frying pan for you guys. I'm very proud of this. I'm a nerd and I love utensils and vessels and things. So my nice new frying pan, it's the perfect size for a 2-egg omelet. And I'm going to turn the heat on, and here's something that I have to tell you about. I cook in butter. You can't tell by looking at me. Don't judge me. I cook in butter. Everything tastes better in butter. You know this to be true. But if you're watching your figure, if you care, then you can throw in some olive oil or canola oil or any good cooking oil that you prefer to use. I am going to slap in some butter, but find my butter. Okay, now I'm gonna taking you on a tour of my kitchen while I do this. Grab a knife. I'm gonna throw in. Here, I'm gonna tilt this again so you can see what's happening. Okay, there. You can kind of see what's going on now. So I always wait for the pan to be hot enough because you really, if you got a cold pan, it's no point cooking. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to just give my chips a little nudge. You want to keep them separate and you want to make sure that they don't like stick together or get burnt or whatever too quickly. And really, it's that simple. Making fries at home is really easy. And when my mom needed us to eat and we just refused to eat as children, we would make dal and rice, which is a very standard thing for Indian families, and she would make us chips on the side. And, you know, weirdly enough, we ate it because it was chips. Who doesn't like fries, right? So we've got those going. I'm going to let them cook on a nice medium heat. And I've got my pan hot now. And don't judge me. Like I said, I cook in butter and I cook in a lot of butter. I'm going to put a dollop of butter in there. I just feel like if you're going to be cooking at home, you might as well be happy. So I like to just swirl it around in there. And make sure it's all coated. I feel like I could watch this for an hour. Like if you put a YouTube video on with somebody like swirling butter in a pan, I would watch it for hours. I'm just a piggy though. I really love butter. Okay, so we've got that going. I'm going to let it melt down a little bit. I'm going to grab a spatula and, oh my God, you saw my messy drawer. Anyway, all right. I got my butter going in there. Obviously, you want to use like a non-stick safe spatula, whatever this is. What is this? Why is this in your way? I don't want you to see this. Okay. All right. And now, we've got this. It's actually not heated enough. So I'm going to wait a little bit more. This is how I check heat, by the way. Okay. I'm wondering if this might be too advanced for people who don't cook on a regular basis, because you do have to keep an eye on two things. But anyway, so we're checking on our fries while we wait for the butter to heat up a little more. Okay, that's plenty. Now, you bring your egg batter over, and I like to keep beating it till the very last minute because there's a lot of spices in there and you want it to, like, I don't know if emulsify is the right word. I feel like that's a chemical reaction of some sort. I don't know. But this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to whip it till the last second, and then we're going to chuck it in. And make sure you get all the stuff in there, all your spices, all your onions, all your chilies. And then just swirl it so it's kind of even in the pan. And now we wait. Eggs are like the easiest thing to make, right? It's kind of a no-brainer. And here, I want to talk to you guys for a little bit while we wait for this to cook. So, with eggs, essentially, if I can't think of anything to eat, I'll make an egg. In Parsi cooking, we use eggs a lot, and not just for breakfast. You feel like, eggs are a breakfast food or like a brunch thing. We actually do it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I mean, I feel like I'm saying Parsi a lot, and maybe some of you don't know what Parsi is. Parsi is a small community spread across the world, actually, and lots of us here in Canada, lots of us in India, originally from Iran. And the kind of cooking I do is a mix of Parsi and Indian cooking, because Parsis adapted to Indian spices and cooking when they moved to India all those generations ago. So, I am killing time because I'm waiting for things to cook. So let's go check on our potatoes. Yeah. Where am I? Hang on. Bear with me. This is live. So we're going to give them a little thing. Look how nicely they're cooking up. I'm kind of really proud of this. Yeah. And give that a little shake. What am I doing here? Okay. And we've got our egg still going in the pan. Now, the thing with eggs is that they cook really easy, but they also burn really easy. So I like to keep an eye on it the whole time. It's not something like you can put in the oven and walk away from. So we're doing this, and we're waiting. And it is like watching paint dry, and I wish I had more entertaining things to say to you. But essentially, you've got this omelette going, and it kind of, it's like, I like my new pan because look, it's all like, wee. All right, so I told you this could work or this could be a disaster, either which way. Right, actually, it's working quite well. If you kind of want to test your egg, you kind of give it a little look-see under. I don't know if you can see. You give it a little look-see underneath. Oh, and I broke it. So, yeah, that failed. But anyway, you give it a look-see underneath. You can very easily tell if an egg is cooked or not. It's not rocket science, really. So, let me point the camera down again so you can see what I'm doing. All right, okay, here we go. I'm amusing myself more than anybody else, I think. So, what you're going to do, what most people do, is you can flip it in half, but I kind of like to do the quarter. So you go like that, and you go like that, and I broke it. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. And then you take it and you flip it over so you can cook the other side properly. It's not that bad. It's like slightly broken, but that's fine, because ultimately it's going down your gullet and it all tastes the same down there. That's my motto. If I mess something up, it's going to taste good anyway. So, if you're a presentation snob, I'm sorry. But it tastes great, I guarantee it. So, Okay. I'm actually going to eat this after. This is my New Year's Day brunch. So you're going to leave that in there for a little bit. Just make sure it's cooked because you really don't want like raw eggs. I believe there's a risk of salmonella with that. I'm going to check on my chips again, make sure they're going. And you know, that's really it for the egg. You can flip it over one more time, make sure everything's done. It's not burnt, it's just browned. And it was brown to begin with, if you remember, if you've been watching. And now, because I watched so many, I don't know if this was going, hang on one second. Because I watched so many cooking shows as a child, and I know what I'm doing, by the magic of pre-preparation, I'm like spilling everywhere. I have some chips ready in a plate right here, and I'm just gonna plate this up. Oh, it broke! I was doing so well. Okay, well, whatever. It's like a slightly broken omelet now, but again, I promise you it tastes great. I've got my pora and my chips. And that's really it. That's my whole meal. I'm going to take you back over to my counter here so we can talk a little bit here. Put this back up. I really need a camera guy, eh? Like, I can't, like, do this myself. Or maybe I can. I don't know. Maybe that's the fun of it. All right, okay. So, that's really it. That's kind of a very basic meal that I grew up eating, honestly. And it's pretty filling. I really enjoy it. I think that a lot of the times when people are cooking at home, you get really sort of caught up with the details of what it's going to look like or what it's going to be. But if you're cooking for yourself at home or you're cooking for friends, they're going to understand you're not a professional chef. I'm not a professional chef either. Stuff doesn't always land up looking as pretty as it could, but I guarantee you it tastes amazing. And I kind of like really want to get into this right now because if it cools down, it's no fun eating cold eggs and fries. God, who wants to eat cold fries? So I'm going to give you a final look at this. This is, yeah, that's what it looks like on the plate. It looks so unappetizing. I feel horrible. But trust me, it's delicious. I'm going to eat a little bit right now. Oh my God, that's yummy. And then I usually throw on some lime there because I like lime on everything. And really, that's the whole all. So for those of you who joined me here, watching me embarrass myself, thank you. It's been really fun. And this is what I'm going to be doing for a little bit on Facebook, is essentially showing you guys recipes that I grew up with, stuff that I like eating, stuff that I like making for my friends, and, you know, making people happy. I feel like for a lot of people, food translates into happiness, and it does for me too. And the fact that I can share it with you guys and hopefully inspire you to cook at home as well and maybe use some of my recipes or learn from my mistakes like I'm doing right now. I'm burning my pan. I'm going to set off the smoke alarm. Learn from my mistakes and join me next week. I don't know what I'm cooking yet next week, but hopefully it'll turn out, I wanted to say as good as this one, but I mean, like, I don't know, like, it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. And I feel like that's the best you could hope for. Not the worst thing in the world. All right, okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please continue to join me on my journey. I promise you the videos are going to get better. It's just me and my little tripod right now, but hopefully the quality will get better in time. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys next week. Bye.